Hey all, Old Jagger here with another Far From Home. And let me tell you, I'm feeling that old part right now. Haven't been sleeping well the last couple days, and I'm paying the price for it. Got that bone deep weariness that makes everything ache. Unfortunately, I'm still too wired to sleep just yet. Tried, and it wouldn't stick. Figured I'd settle down sipping on a cup of tea and tell you all about my recent, well, I was going to say adventure, but I don't know if I'd even call it that. Dang, this tea is real good. Like a hug in a mug. My friend Nico makes the blend themselves from plants that grow on their mountain out in the Cascom in Castra. It's this cabin perched right below the snow line with some of the prettiest sunsets you've ever seen. Might be time to go visit them soon, since my tin's almost empty. Maybe after I finish this run. Right now, I'm piloting Shana through Banshee, which is a system I don't exactly feel comfortable in. Probably being here's what started me spinning out in the first place. Could also be the fact that Vara is just around the corner, and it's hard not to have Ghost on the mind to begin with. Geez, that's right. I don't even have to say Ghost, that this was a ghost story yet. You knew it. If you can't already tell, my thoughts tend to wander a bit when I'm this tired. Actually, I remember this one time, when I was first starting out, the massive promise of a bonus had me burning 56 hours straight, trying to get a haul delivered before the deadline. Talk about tired. Tired all the usual tricks, like stems and chewing on stinging root to avoid the inevitable. Even tired wearing these electric pants that were supposed to give me a shock every time I started to drift. But I had to take them off when my leg hair caught fire. You should have seen the state I was in by the time I arrived. The absolute exhaustion of the trip was sitting on me so heavy that I wound up scraping the hangar doors on the way in. Instead of crossing the finish line, I crashed into it. Between the repairs to my hull and the very station, plus my citation for flying impaired, I wound up owing more credits than the bonus paid. Wish I could say I learned my lesson on that one, but it took a few more years before I finally understood that sacrificing sleep just ain't worth it, no matter how big the payout. Speaking of being slow to learn, here I am rambling again, halfway through my tea, and I haven't even gotten to the story I wanted to share. Like I said, there is one of those space spookers people often think about when they're out here on the drift. The type that folks like to share around a campfire. I'm sure any of you that have been on the drift long enough have your own stories like this one, where something unexplained happens and you start to unravel. When the hull that normally feels like home begins to feel like a cage you're trapped in. And those hums and clanks that normally serenade you to sleep all seem to pretend that you're about to face your doom. I think it's just one of those things that comes from spending a lot of time on your lonesome. Stay in the black too long and things just go weird on their own. See, it all started a few days ago, right after I picked up a quantum-sensitive shipment from a station not too far from Lorana. It was going to be a slow burn, but I was all right with it. Been keeping up with practicing my music. Just started reading a new book on the history of terraforming, and I had a whole bunch of questions and messages from all of you to sort through. Basically, not only was I set to keep myself busy for the week, it was going to take care of all the things that I need to get done. And all I had to do was cart this stuff to where it was going. I was actually looking forward to the peace and quiet. I had been on the station for longer than I'd like to admit while I hunted down an electrical problem. Let's just say I had my fill, and then some of the being around strangers certainly got to me. First 2 days on the drift were pure bliss. But then on the third day, right after I finished eating a big bowl of rancher stew, I heard it for the first time. A voice. I froze where I was. Sure, I was imagining things. A moment passed. And then another. When I didn't hear anything, I put it out of my mind, confident it was just the compressor setting in or the like. But then, a few hours later, as I was nestled in my bunk, picking out a song I was gonna learn on my guitar, I heard the voice again. It sounded far away, small, but I was able to pick out one word clear as glass. It said die. I shot up like a dart and turned all the lights on. My heart was racing, and you could sand the paint off a hull with how sharp the prickles were standing up on my arms. And I'm not normally one to spook so easy, but well, I ain't talking about just anything here. But I had someone die aboard the Shauna not too long ago. It was about 5 years past, and I was here in Banshee. I met a wayward soul trying to head out a system. It just so happened that I was going to Fora, and after that was my next stop. As you might guess, it's pretty rare for me to want company aboard, but something about them told me I should say yes when they asked for a ride. Once we were flying, I learned that they were a bit of a musician themselves. Wasn't long before they busted out a slack box and started toying away with it. Not sure if all of you've ever heard one before, since they're not the most popular instrument, but if you haven't, they pretty much sound like a fiddle that's been through some pretty tough times. And anyway, they started playing. I started singing. It wound up being a very nice way to pass the time. That was until they started into From the Fire. Only the first verse when the tears started rolling in that song. Didn't really think too much about it. It's a sad song to begin with, and the music has a special way of moving people, you know? After the song finished, they went to use the head to freshen up, and well, I'll spare you the details, but some of you might remember that I stopped broadcasting for a bit that year. Now, You know why. I almost even considered giving up the Shauna, because I wasn't comfortable being on board her for a while. Luckily, the long break, combined with some much-needed therapy, got me back into the skies. So, when I started hearing this strange voice, not too far from the very coordinates where they passed, you can bet your last credit that I thought it might be the spirit that came back, especially since the song I had been practicing, you guessed it, from the fire. I always say the universe is too big of a place not to be filled with coincidence, but that's hardly a comfort when a ghost is haunting you. I waited about 2 more hours, holding my breath almost the entire time, every light in the damn ship on, waiting to hear the voice again. Nothing. I tried to put it out of my mind, decided to try to go back to sleep. Not a minute had passed after laying before when I heard it again. The voice in a barely whisper was saying, "About to die." It continued on like this, every few hours, a whisper telling me that my death was drawing ever closer. I was seriously thinking about dumping the cargo and burning straight the hell out of the system, but decided to take my own advice about what to do in these type of situations. When things get screwy, and I calmed the closest dock I could to find a remote console. After hearing my tale, they said that it looked like I might be experiencing an early onset dementia, which only got me more scared than I already was. They recommended that I come in for a full scan as soon as possible, some such. Dumping my full load and QT into the nearest med center was looking more and more the best course of action. If the doc was right, I could be in a serious danger to myself. But I couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't some trick my mind was playing on me. Everything in my being was telling me that this voice was real. I tried to make a decision about what to do, but found myself spiraling. I was too tired and too scared to think straight. But you know what old holers say to do when you can't decide? That's right, you take a shower. That's because you heard from me before. Don't know if it's the water, the sound, or just being back to nature, but something about a quick rinse that helps you think better. Next time you're stuck, give it a try. Sure as hell helped me out this time. As I lather up my hair, I hear the voice again. But this time I noticed something. It was louder. Why the hell would it be louder in the shower? Thinking that through myself, my brain racing, my only answer was the vent. So I rinse off as quick as I can be, put my shower finished up, got my clothes on, wait with the ears close to the little hatch as possible. When the voice finally came again, this time I can make out it saying, "Warning, batteries are about to die. Please charge unit." 2 seconds later, I was tearing away the panel with my multi-tool, and after a bit of digging around, I found my ghost. 1898 handhold diagnostic unit. Seems that I had left the damn thing in the wall back at the station while I was doing my repairs. I didn't know it had a voice warning for low batteries. Not sure who the hell decided that was a good feature to include, but thing had very nearly driven me to the brink of madness. Almost smashed it with a hammer just out of spite. But instead of doing that, I tucked it back into its charging bay and brought out my guitar. I sang from the fire loud and clear and felt a lot better when it was done. It wasn't too long after that I started brewing my tea, and here we are now. I feel a lot better and cleaner and getting able to share all that. Even the hard parts. And even the parts where I come out looking like a fool. I think I might be able to sleep now, and I hope you all wish me luck. Until next time, sweet dreams. This is old Jaeger signing off. That was Far From Home Whispers in the Walls. More of this, lore team. More of this. More of the back catalog too, from the Jump Points subscriber paywall back stuff. Please give the subscribers a window and then start unlocking everything over time. It's great. There's a lot of subscriber back content, and as always, the entire program on the lore side is greatly appreciated. Fantastic story and perfect Day of the Vara type lore for this season. To those who celebrate Halloween and Day of the Dead and everything like that, happy, all of that fun stuff. I think the fall brings out the best in us. Brings out a lot of exciting times. You can just feel it in the air in the dark, how fun it is. So Day of the Vara is greatly welcomed as the in-lore version. So spooky stories, yes, scary masks, even the Vandal ones, which kind of shocks me that's a mainstay in the communities of the UEE. But hey, maybe it's part of overcoming your fears, just like old Jaeger was able to find his fears, maybe not necessarily too scary once he found out what they were, but coming to terms with a loss that he had, a new friend suddenly who passed, and he had to come to terms with that on his own home. His very ship was the site in the very system that it happened. So really cool story. Once again, I love these stories that flesh out different parts of the world that we are yet to see. It gives me a lot of hope, and it gives me a lot of excitement about what we can see in these systems. Some of the earliest things that you have that really pioneer the path forward into the verse are in lore. So I hope this reached out to you. If you're not a reader, I hope this helped you out. And if you are a reader, I hope this enhanced your experience. I'm going to include the link below to the original lore post, which is a text-based lore post. And as always, I'm going to ask again, if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. If you know anybody who would enjoy listening to this, please share it with them. And I want to take a moment here to thank those who like, subscribe, comment. I know it's annoying, but it's greatly appreciated. And particularly on the lore videos, these I really try to read from the heart. I have a lot of fun with them. So I want to thank you all for being here. And, on my bigger videos, I can't really do these type of heart-to-heart talks. So if there is anything you'd like me to kind of do a passion project on that you're interested in, or maybe that if you are a fellow content creator or you're aspiring to be, don't hesitate to reach out. I want to mention this because I haven't done it in a while in any of these videos, but I do have a Discord. It's RedJ #0001. You can always reach out to me. I think a lot of people are shocked. I actually talk with people. If it's not below, you can reach out to me in public. You can reach out to me on Discord if you'd like to be more, one-on-one discussion. And I'm always available. So it's kind of fun to reach out to folks and kind of, I just had a great discussion last week with somebody who says, oh yeah, I've been watching your stuff for like 6 months. And I'm like, that's awesome, man. And kind of talking a little bit more about what they think is going to go on with the Starliner. And I had a blast bringing up some of the old references, talking about what we think is going to happen and not. And that's also something that's evolving, I'm seeing in the comment sections too, which I'm really having fun with those in-depth discussions. Kind of debating those things and finding out the facts and kind of seeing where we're, trying to soothsay what's going to happen in the IAE coming up and into the next year. So very exciting times. I think that there's a lot to be said for IAE coming up, and I'm going to save that for my next video, which should be on Wednesday, which is where CIG is going to kick out the Spirit Q&A, and that'll be that. So once again, thank you all, and I wish you all a wonderful, wonderful fall, okay? And have a blast. And see you in the verse.